Kevin Hester, you are ridiculous.
The Bears are who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Shut up. See that? That's your IQ, buddy. 0.
Hungry Chicago, finally champions on this January day in New Orleans.
This is the Barely Qualified Podcast with your hosts, Nick Labris, Jason Maxwell, and Drew Bailey.
Hey, hello, and welcome back to Barely Qualified for the 15th episode of the year. I'm Jason Maxwell, and with me, as always, are Drew Bailey and Nick Labris. Coming out of the bye week in Week 5, we're going to dive back into all things Bears and preview the Week 6 matchup against Jayden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. As a nice cherry on top, we'll also go around the league and give you some extremely mediocre gambling and fantasy advice, like always. Nick, Drew, let's cut right to the chase. Talk Bears Commanders. Monday night, prime time under the lights, our deepest, darkest fears unlocked in Week 6. Drew, you mentioned it last week, but it's the Commanders again. This is literally the 4th year in a row the Bears are going to be playing the Commanders. It's Groundhog's Day. Hopefully we get a little bit of a better result than last year. It's impossible to forget the Hail Mary, whatever you want to call it. But lots of storylines, lots of angles and matchups to discuss. So, let's dive in. Before we do so, I want to tell you a little bit about our friends over at Lola's Handcrafted Churros in downtown Lisle. Lola's offers up handcrafted churros from scratch, made to order and piping hot. It doesn't stop there. Lola's pairs these bad boys with ice cream sundaes. I'm talking about s'more churro sundaes, matcha fruity pebbles, Nutella and strawberry. The list goes on. Get a sundae, get a dozen, just stop in for one. Whatever you do, you're going to love it. They have coffee, horchata, freshly made churros, ice cream. As a wise man once said, what more could you want? So check them out. Lola's, that's L-O-L-A, churros.com. Follow them on Instagram and TikTok at Lola's Handcrafted Churros and let us know how you like it. So Drew and Nick, again, let's get into it. We got Bears Commanders, the second slate of a two-pronged Monday night football slate. Bears are coming in at plus 4.5. Over-under set at 49.5. A good amount of points expected to be scored. And if you're adventurous enough, a loyal Bears fan, I saw the money line fluctuating between plus 195 and plus 200 today. So, Nick, how about you take us away? We'll get back off of the bye talking about a preview of this Bears-Commanders matchup. What do you got for us, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a fun game. I think it's a fun game. There's like you said, Jay, to kick us off. There's a million storylines for this game, so we can kind of talk about that stuff before we even really talk X's and O's or strategies or anything like that. Honestly, so there's a lot of storylines, like I just said, but the first thing that I'm interested in for this game, and I kind of want your guys' take, is I'm genuinely very curious to see how Ben Johnson operates out of a bye. I think that's what I'm probably the most excited about right now. There's a lot of coaches that, like you look at like Andy Reid, his record after a bye is, I don't know what it is, I'm not looking at the numbers, but it's phenomenal. There are certain coaches that really take advantage of that extra week and they prepare for their game and they, do all the stuff that needs to be done for the team. So I guess Bears, one of the biggest problems the Bears have had is like penalties and all kinds of procedural issues like false starts and illegal motions and all that fun stuff. Are you guys I'm expecting the Bears to have a lot of this stuff, not necessarily completely cleaned up because it is, they're still pretty far away from that, but I'm hoping to see a pretty drastic step forward in that. And as well as I want to see them come out like hot in this game, just because I'm hoping that Ben Johnson seems like a very meticulous guy. And it seems like he's the kind of guy that would take the bye week very seriously and get things right. So I guess I'm curious what What are you guys like hoping, and what are you guys expecting out of the bye from Ben Johnson, since we've never seen him in this situation? Drew, what are you hoping to see out of Ben Johnson here?
Yeah, I think the quick start, get back to the quick start that we saw in the first 2-3 weeks of the season. I think we lost a little bit of it in Vegas. Things kind of slowed down, even though the game was never really out of reach. The first 15 scripted, you have a ton of time to prepare for that. But more than that, you have a ton of time, like you were saying, Nick, to prepare in procedurals, prepare for the noise. It's going to be a Monday night. It's going to be rowdy. You're on the road. Washington knows what has happened last year, so they'll probably lean on that one to start. So you really got to prepare the boys for a battle of a game that's going to happen. And I'm really, really glad to see that a lot of, I don't know if you guys watch the 1920 YouTube that the Bears put out all the time, but glad to see that the players, ever since Ben Johnson said his quote of our practice is yet to reflect any sort of a championship team, the players kind of took to that and took that at heart of, that means that's on us. That's on us. We need to really do things in practice to reflect that we are a professional football team. It's not our brand of football. And I hope that they took that very, very seriously going into the bye, because you're hot, but it's still the NFL. You got to prepare, and you have to 100% come with heat every day so that you can have success. So I think Ben Johnson wouldn't slow down in his speech towards that. So we'll see how much it comes out at the start of the game and through the longevity of the game. But we need to see, what I mostly want to see over everything is just a full effort through the full game. No slowdown. I don't know if we'll get it this year, but just like no foot off the gas pedal.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Jay, is there anything you're looking to see from Ben Johnson coming out of the bye, that whether you're hoping that this is the case or things that you expect to see right now with the Bears not playing last week?
I just want him to look sharp. I think as Bears fans, the elephant in the room over the last decade has been, can the Bears just win a damn game after a bye week? Sad stat of the week, right? The Bears since 2015, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2-8. 2-8 after a bye. Okay, not where you want to be. Most, when you're looking and handicapping sport lines, and it comes to the bye week time in the NFL, it's like, well, this team's coming after the bye. They're going to be fresh. They should keep a game closer. They should be more competitive. They should get more wins. Obviously, the Bears haven't been a great team since a decade, right? you take out 2018, but that's a pretty damning statistic. 2-8 after the bye. If we want to get into the X's and O's and what do you want to see, you need to see the penalties just reduced, especially with an extra week to prepare. You know who your opponent's going to be. You have Jaden Daniels. Screw hoping and wishing that we can stop the run or apply pressure. But let's control the things we can't control, and what we can control is the discipline to reduce the penalties. And if you have 2 weeks to prepare on that, then good Lord, if we're going to have double-digit penalties again, I'm going to not be happy. I'm going to do things that are not happy. So I'm going to keep the bar low, and I'm going to say just keep the damn penalties down after the bye.
Yeah, I honestly think the penalties are one of the biggest problems with the Bears right now. If you can nip that in the bud, I think the team is actually a pretty solid team and really has a chance to be a solid 8-9 win team. So really need to get those penalties reined in. So yeah, I agree. I hope the Bears come out sharp. I'm hoping that, they really fix a lot of the penalty problems. So we'll see. But I think it's interesting though, because, I am curious to see how Ben Johnson comes out of a bye, because, we've seen, like I said, Andy Reid is very good. A lot of the Bears coaches, particularly I feel like Mark Trestman and Matt Nagy they were just bad coaches, but they were also bad out of the bye. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But the second big, this is probably more of like the national storyline, right? Is Caleb versus Jaden round 2. Picks 1 and 2 in the draft last year. Jaden Daniels won round 1. He won Rookie of the Year last year, went to the NFC Championship. I still believe Caleb Williams is going to be the better pro long term. Jaden Daniels is very good, but I just don't know how sustainable his brand of football is. You've seen him already miss a lot of time with injuries and things of that nature. So, having a running quarterback that isn't great at sliding or avoiding hits and is also very, very like slight, it's no knock on his skills. He's an incredibly skilled quarterback, but I just think Caleb's got a lot more staying power and a lot more longevity just the way he plays versus Jaden Daniels. But regardless, I think you knew that was probably my take. But regardless, Caleb versus Jaden round 2, definitely a huge storyline going to this game. That's probably going to be one of, if not the most highlighted storyline leading up to the game, during the game, by the commentators, all that stuff. So I don't know, like anything you want to add to the Caleb versus Jaden stuff, Jay?
Let me just ask this really quick. Again, I always forget. Who's the Monday night announcers?
Usually it's Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. Okay. I'm not sure who's calling this one.
We got Troy and Joe.
I have to. But if it was Collinsworth, the only thing that he would be talking about is the 2 quarterbacks the entire time.
Here's a guy drafted number 1. So much expectation. No, I mean, it's going to be if you're writing up the talking points for the announcers and the color commentary guys, it's like, well, just that's all we're going to talk about. You're going to see 3,000 graphics of statistical, comparisons between Jaden and Caleb.
Yeah, those weird 3D cartoon animations that they do on ESPN.
Throwing the ball up in the air, Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really annoying, I think. I think for us, it's going to be really annoying because you're going to see all of these accolades. It'll be like a Herculean Jaden Daniels and then probably Caleb just on a sinking boat by himself or something like that for summarizing last season. But I agree with you, Nick. I mean, I do believe, and you know that I've been very hard on Caleb throughout the longevity of his career so far. Mm-hmm. But I do think that he's going to be the better quarterback long term. When me and Sam Katz spent Sunday with our kids watching football, we were watching Jaden Daniels carve up the Chargers, and he looked great. But man, I just cannot imagine him completing 5 healthy years in the NFL. The way he plays the game, and his skill set is so dependent on his legs and his ability to kind of slip out of tackles. And it's like, I just can't imagine that's sustainable. Whereas you contrast that to Caleb's gameplay, and sure, he can run, but he's a pass first quarterback. He's a traditional quarterback first, and Jaden isn't that. So God bless him. It's doing incredibly well for the Commanders. And so no knock on Jaden. He deservedly won the Rookie of the Year last year. Mm-hmm. I'd really like to see Caleb just at least, go toe to toe at this point. It's still early in the careers, but I want to see a competent play from Caleb. So if nothing else, I don't even need them to win the game. I just want the national media to just back the fuck off Caleb in these comparisons of anointing Jaden as the Hall of Fame quarterback from the draft class when it's far too soon to conclude that.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. 100%. Drew, anything to add to the Caleb Jaden discourse?
Yeah, I mean, you guys have hit the nail on the head with the health thing. He's also just so skinny. He's so lengthy and so skinny that, how your lower body is going to sustain NFL hits that long. Yeah, you've seen it. But the guys, kid brought his team to the NFC Championship last year. So, you can't argue with the fact that when he's on the field, they can have success. It's just how long he can sustain that and be on the field. The other portion of that is until Caleb has more success than Jaden Daniels, it's just going to be that sort of analysis that just keeps coming. I mean, it could be statistical success, which he's having right now. So I think people have backed off that part of Caleb's game. but until he gets to a further point than Jaden Daniels, I think that's still a pedestal that he has to climb. But yeah, it's just always going to be a storyline with no matter what. You see it in quarterbacks from draft classes that were 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever. They're all, whenever they come up against each other, they're just going to have that comparison against each other.
And for what it's worth, too, we're watching Monday Night Football live as we're doing this podcast. And Jackson Dart's been scrambling around. He's been looking phenomenal. He just got concussed through the crust of the earth. I mean, just absolutely got drilled. So, maybe that, the Grim Reaper comes for everybody who plays the sport of football when you're carrying the ball as much. So I view it as inevitable that Jaden's going to miss multiple games a year the way he plays football.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see, unless he completely transforms his game into a pocket passer, which I don't think would benefit him or the Commanders either, by the way, because that's not his game. Or unless he learns how to, think about Lamar Jackson, who's definitely a run first quarterback. Lamar Jackson has got this unbelievable ability, when he's healthy, then he's playing, to avoid the big hit and to make sure he's either sliding or going out of bounds, or can just manipulate his body to avoid big hits. And Jaden's got to learn how to do that if he wants to be a sustainable NFL player. So, all right. So that's another one of my big points, right? And that's, again, you're going to see graphics. They're going to be talking about in the pregame show. They're going to be talking about it during the broadcast, Caleb versus Jaden. Another big media story, and I've seen a lot of it already this week, is the Tyrique Stevenson going back to Washington after his whole Hail Mary fiasco last year, caught on tape, taunting the crowd while the play was going on. And then obviously being the person that tipped the ball directly to the Commanders receiver to end the game for the Commanders. So one thing I think Tyrique Stevenson is handling this very well this week. He has said some interesting quotes, and I think, I don't know, I like the way he's attacking this. He's kind of just he's not trying to hide from it. He's standing up and putting his name on everything. It's really all you can do, I think. If you try and hide from it, it's going to look bad, and you're just going to, it's going to keep, chipping away at you. So I like how Tyrique Stevenson has handled it. I also really like the way Tyrique Stevenson has been playing the last few weeks. Obviously, he had that incredible interception last time the Bears played against the Raiders, but I think he's been pretty solid this season. We're getting a little bit of health in the secondary, so I think we'll talk about that in a little bit, but it'll help Tyrique Stevenson as well. But generally speaking, Tyrique Stevenson going back to Washington, kind of the scene of the crime last year. He was public enemy number one in Chicago for a little bit there. Drew, I mean, what are you thinking about Tyrique Stevenson going back to Washington this week?
Yeah, I mean, he said the right things that he needed to say. And I hate to really say this because I don't want to be against the Bears, but that was actually probably, looking back on it, one of the best things that could have happened to the Bears last year, because it set up a pile of dominoes that needed to happen in order for the Bears to have future success. At that point, you win that game, you're 5-1, and you have the optimistic nature of what the rest of the season could be. And if you hit that, the rest of those losses, wins, whatever they may be, you still have the structure of Eberflus. You still have a lot of things there. So past that, I hate to say that I'm glad anything happens. It was still a vicious loss. I still think I lost $500 on it. So I hate to see it in the moment of things, but looking back at it, it wasn't so bad. And yes, it could be a replay or a highlight for either side of the ball for years and years to come, because that's what happens when you have game-ending plays. But I think we're, as Bears fans, at least a little bit over it from a storyline perspective. Tyrique isn't, and I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to hear that he's going to hold himself accountable still on that play and try to write a new book for it. So that's the right attitude for him to take. For us as Bears fans, I feel like it's barely anything that we need to consider, because last season happened and it changed a lot of things in this organization that needed to happen. So, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from there. A little butterfly effect, Ashton Kutcher movie, if you will, right? You get Flus might still be the damn coach if that doesn't happen. So silver lining if you want to look at it that way. Nick, to your point, I dig the way that Tyreek Stevenson is attacking this, right? I think it's with the right mentality, a killer's mentality. I think you hit it on the head too. The fact that he's playing out of his mind these last couple of weeks, coinciding with, hey, I mean, he's been a turnover machine. So let's keep that going. Let's keep his coverage tight, keep him locked in. If this serves as extra motivation to keep his focus, right? I would be hard pressed to imagine that Tyreek Stevenson's going to take a playoff this game, right? I think there's just too much at stake. He obviously has the pride to say, listen, mea culpa, that was on me. I'm embarrassed by it. It'll never happen again. That's the kind of mentality and the learning moments that you want when you fuck up as a player. What are you going to do after that? Are you going to do it again? No? Awesome. Then you're cool in my book, right? So play hard, play right, give maximum effort. I just want to kind of call out this quote too, because he was on a couple of podcasts, or at least one, or an interview with, I think the Atlantic. I think that girl. Yeah, right. As I check my notes and I stutter, the Athletic.
Today.
Yeah, right. He said, I'm fixing to write the fuck out of this. I'm trying to write one of the year's bestsellers, and this might be the best chapter. The fact that I'm walking back in there with a smile on my face and ready to walk back out with a smile as well. So I think that kind of summarizes the mentality and the preparation that he's coming in. A little extra focus, probably needed. Light a fire. I hope he has a good game. What I hope doesn't happen is he's just getting torched left and right. That would be brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. And apologies. I was Cubs just got out of a big jam, so I was kind of focused on that. But we're still good. So all right. Yeah. Podcasting during an elimination game is a little challenging, but we're gonna press through.
And a birthday for you too, Nick.
Yeah, birthday. Yeah, thank you very much. 38 years old.
Damn.
Old man. Old man. I have this is a bit of a tangent, but I told you guys I've been doing a little bit of golfing this week, and I have to wear a copper fit sleeve on my left elbow because of some elbow problems, and I just feel like the oldest person alive because with that on. So anyway, Tyreek Stevenson has been, I think, honestly, one of the best players in the Bears defense. Him and Kevin Byard, I think, are just been absolutely tearing it up the last few weeks. And honestly, I might obviously we've played 4 games. We're going to week 6. Still a lot of season to be had. But as of right now, one of the biggest plays for the Bears all season, in my book, has been Tyreek Stevenson's forced fumble and fumble recovery against Javonte Williams and the Cowboys in the first quarter, first drive of the Cowboys game. Really set the tone for that game. And honestly, kind of turned things. If the Cowboys march down the field and they score on that drive, it's kind of like, oh boy, here we go again, because this is right after the Lions game. But I think that play at this time, I think that play was a huge turning point because things could have went very south, and the Bears ended up actually kind of beating the shit out of the Cowboys that game. So I love Tyreek Stevenson. I remember even after that play happened last year, my thing was he shouldn't have been taunting. That looks really stupid. But at the end of the day, that ball gets batted literally anywhere else on the field. Bears win the game anyway. It was just a complete freak act, a freak thing. So it is what it is. I hope he learned from it, like you guys said, and I hope that he comes ready to play. And it sounds like he will. I don't think, Jay, you said it, I would be hard-pressed to think that he would take anything off. I think he's going to be giving maximum effort the whole game. So, and Drew, to kind of echo some of your thoughts, I think it might end up being a good thing, not only because we got a bad man out of Chicago because of the kind of the results of that game, but also because now you got a super motivated Tyreek Stevenson. I think Caleb Williams is super motivated to go against Jaden Daniels, no matter what he says in the media. I'm sure he's going to be very nonchalant about it in the media, but I know that's, he's a competitive guy picked right behind him is, he's won Rookie of the Year, went to the NFC Championship, all that stuff. That's got to be, it's got to bring a little bit more motivation for him. So I do think that little weird budding rivalry with the Commanders is a weird thing, but anyway, it's fun.
NFL wants that. They do.
They do. They want it bad. This might be the new. Yeah, I mean, hopefully, hey, who knows? Maybe this is the new Colts Patriots, right? non-divisional interconference rival that have two very good quarterbacks. I'd be fine with that.
That would be great.
All right. So another big storyline that I want to talk about for this, I'm going to go back to Ben Johnson a little bit. So this is a Ben Johnson revenge game, right? Ben Johnson had nothing to do with the Bears Hail Mary game, but Ben Johnson's last game coaching with the Lions was when the Commanders thrashed them in the NFC divisional round last year. Does that give Ben Johnson any additional motivation going into this game, or do you think not so much? I don't know. Jay, do you think there's any additional motivation because of how embarrassing the Commanders beat the Lions last year in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think that locker room's going to have a common thread of this game means a little bit more, right? I mean, what an embarrassment and a black eye for the Bears and the players in the room, as well as, hey, let's win this one for the coach as well. I mean, what was it, 45-31? That was like an insane offensive performance. Yeah. So no knock on Ben Johnson, but you know that he's going to want this one a little bit extra too. So I think when you can put up that kind of, post-board material in a locker room and have 2 weeks to kind of stew, let's dig a little bit deeper. Everyone's going to have a little bit deeper to dig for this game, in my opinion. So hopefully they come out firing, and hopefully Ben can kind of not make the week kind of in the practice weeks kind of revolve around that, but you don't need to say what doesn't need to be said. And I think everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this is going to be a talking point at Halas Hall this week. I don't think anyone's going to have to say anything.
Yeah.
I do think there is some camaraderie, like a common enemy, even though Ben Johnson wasn't here last year for that game. There definitely is like, hey, this team took a lot from everybody in this room collectively without saying it. So I do think that that is true. Drew, you think Ben Johnson is going to, empty the clip in this game or anything like that because they took him out of the playoffs and ended his Detroit season a little earlier than they wanted last year?
I'd like to see it. I mean, more than just like that's what he's going to do. I think he wants to do it, and there's just not been that sense of freedom of again stepping on a team's throat and being in that area where you're up by 2 touchdowns and like, okay, fine, we'll go up by 3, we'll go up by 4. I don't care. Yes, I think that's his mindset no matter what, regardless of the team. So maybe I disagree with you guys a little bit that it's like this team is giving him the motivation to do that. I think that's just his motivation as a head coach. And I'd like to see that come true no matter what team he's playing.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think Ben Johnson does have that like step on their throat, because we've only been able to see it in like one instance, but one instance that I think specifically on in that Dallas game, Bears are up 24-10. Was it 24-14? I don't remember exactly what the score was. Actually, it was 24-14. So they're up by 10.
Yeah,
they were up by 10. 4th down from the 5-yard line. Kick a field goal, you make a 10-point game, a 13-point game, essentially taking a 2-possession game, keeping a 2-possession game. Ben Johnson's like, no, we're here. We're going to go for it. They go for it. Touchdown to DJ Moore. So I like stuff like that. And I do think I think you're right. I think we're going to see more of that. But yeah, I don't know if Ben Johnson's going to be more motivated for this. I think that he seems like a guy who's kind of got his emotions in check. He's not like out there like super like, I don't know, he is like fiery on the sidelines, but is not like, I don't know. He doesn't let things linger, it seems. So I don't know if we'll see. I don't really know. I don't know if we'll ever know actually, because he might not. He probably will never say anything. But I do think that having a common enemy with the people that you're coaching for the first time is a good thing, right? Other than just like, hey, they're on the other side of our schedule.
Exactly.
They're on the other sideline. Yeah. Like, hey, we have other reasons to be here. So
there's a common bond that's shared,
correct.
Right?
Exactly. All right. Couple other things I wanted to touch on. The Bears offensive line, we're still kind of up in the air. Not really sure. It seems like they're keeping it really close to the chest on this. Specifically, obviously, talking about the tackles. We don't really know. We don't know the status of Darnell Wright. He did not participate in practice today. So that's a little concerning. But also, no formal announcement has been made regarding the starting left tackle, Braxton Jones or Theo Benedict. We talked about this a few times already. I don't think there's any way you go back to Braxton Jones at this point. I think that ship has sailed. So I think you're probably looking at Theo Benedict at left tackle, and then you're looking at Ozzie Trapillo at right tackle. It'd be my guess. I don't know. Do either of you guys think any differently? Jay, is that kind of what you're thinking at this point?
Rumor mill's kind of swirling that Theo's going to be getting the tackle. It's not confirmed by any means, so we'll see.
Yeah,
and we'll push out some notifications as well as they come in on our socials. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely close to the chest. Ben seems to kind of operate with that precedent that, hey, I'm not going to give you more information than you need to know, right? Which is frustrating for us doing a Bears podcast. We want to get that information. We want to know it and break the news and talk about it. But I would be shocked if it wasn't Theo getting the start at left tackle this week. I mean, Darnell Wright we'll get into the injury report later, but Darnell Wright started today on the injury report as did not practice. So you got to imagine that he's out of the equation, and it's, is it Braxton Jones or is it Theo Benedict? Trapillo's not slotting in at left tackle anytime soon, in my opinion. So you got to, with the amount of tape that we saw Theo play the last game, you got to ride him out and let Braxton kind of back into that swing tackle position, in my opinion.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Drew, I mean, you expecting to see the two young guys out there at tackles this week?
Yeah, I think he with an extended break and week of rest, even though you have maybe some time to get healthy, you've got some more time to teach them, get them locked into the positions that you want to get them started with. I think we're going to see a lot less early exposure to news than we have in the past with Ben Johnson, just like that. So like, yeah, I think he's rolling with it just based on past 2 weeks of semi success, although the procedurals once again, got to stop. But yeah, I think that you give them that much more time to prepare these guys in these positions. And you roll with the youth for it.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so. I really think I do think that's probably the way forward. I mean, at the end of the day, with playing the young players, worst case scenario, you don't got a guy and you don't have to worry about like holding on to them in the future. I'm a big fan of, if you have a young player, throw them out there, see what you got, right? Especially in a year like this year where you're not really expected to be a contender by any means. There's really no reason not to see what you got in the young players. Okay. Injury updates. This is this is just my least favorite part of our preview show every week. So got a little bit of good news. TJ Edwards is a full participant this week, so he should be back with from a hamstring injury. Kyler Gordon is getting his first practice of the season, and he sounds like he's slated to make his season debut. So we get some secondary help back, but when you giveth, you taketh away. Jaquan Brisker is not participating in practice this week with a quad injury. A lot of soft tissue stuff. Don't love to see that. That stuff tends to linger. So Jaquan Brisker did not participate. Would be surprised to see him go. Grady Jarrett still out with a knee injury. Would be surprised to see him go. Kyle Monungai, thigh injury. I think this is the first he's popped up on the injury report, so that might just be I'm not sure if he's actually injured or if with the Travis Homer return, maybe they're just kind of, I don't know if you need to do that. But anyway, first time I've seen him on the injury report, I think, for the thigh injury. So I don't love that. Darnell Wright, talked about him. He's probably not going to play. He did not participate today. Colson Loveland looks like he's close to coming back. He's a limited participant. Our guy, preseason All-American, Austin Booker, full participant, off the IR. His 21-day window has opened, which just means that basically you have a 3-week stretch to get them into the game and active. Before, if you can't get them active in that time, you shut them down for the whole year. But odds are he'll probably play this week, it looks like. Same thing with Travis Homer. He's off the IR. He is eligible to be activated this week, and he went full participant. And then a surprise add to the injury report. Our guy, Cairo Santos, showed up on the report. He was a limited participant on Wednesday. He's full participant today. Right thigh, which is a little nervous for a right-footed kicker. I feel like that's not. You don't want to see
good.
You don't want to see anything on that right leg injured
at the wrong time.
So yeah, hopefully we see our guy, our punter, out there doing kickoffs just to avoid any unnecessary strain on Cairo's thigh. Let's keep that healthy for field goals. Yeah, this injury report, it's just like, yeah, there's some good stuff, but there's also some bad stuff. Didn't realize Jaquan Brisker even had a quad injury. You know, that's terrible. Because he's been playing pretty solid this year. And also my defensive strategy hinges on him playing, and he's not going to play, it probably sounds like. So I guess the Bears are going to give up 450 yards of offense this week.
No,
they probably will, but that's
they
not
might.
they probably will.
Might.
Yeah.
One
Jay,
more quick call out too. Jonah Jackson popped up on the injury report too with a limited practice today with a rib injury. So, you know, the guard position that's been so shored up with the new additions, hopefully he can go. So we'll monitor that one as well. Obviously the Bears will too, but that would be a bad blow, and just reorganizing, restacking the deck of the offensive line in a time where we're already thin. Right? Yeah.
I will say the rib injury, right? That's more like, I mean, I don't really know a lot of rib injuries other than like a broken rib or like a bruised rib. Like those are kind of the rib injuries I can think of. I'm not a doctor. Maybe there's more. But that seems to be the most common ones. But the good news about those specific injuries that I have heard of is that they're more like pain tolerance issues. Like there's not like, it's not like the soft tissue stuff, that's what you're worried about, right? The soft tissue stuff, that's the stuff that lingers all season. A rib injury, it's going to be painful. I'm not going to say it's not going to be painful. It's going to hurt him a lot, but it is a pain tolerance issue. So I think that that's something he can either play through or will miss a week and he'll be back. So I'm not super worried about the rib injury. I'm more worried about the list of calf, hamstring, and quad injuries the Bears and thigh. Although, what's the difference between a quad and a thigh?
That's a great question.
I was under the impression the quad and the thigh were the same thing.
Drew, they got to go back to the hockey designation. Just lower body injury. Keep it simple.
Maybe your thigh is like the entire circumference of your upper leg versus
maybe the bone.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Because Kyle Monunga is out with the thigh, but then you got Jaquan Brisker with the quad, which is unusual.
That seems like the Bears might be doing hey, we're gonna have Travis Homer on the active roster, and Monunga is going to the phantom injury list.
We should just say upper leg injury. Then
upper leg injury. Exactly.
The whole thing.
Yeah. All right. Injury report not looking great, but it's again better in some aspects, worse in some aspects. So we'll see. We will see what happens there. Anything else you guys want to talk about Bears wise? I mean, I guess, I think we'll really quick. Let's touch on the offense and the defense. Commanders defense is nothing really that Commanders defense, they seem to give up some points and nothing really special about them. I think they're an older group, but I think the Bears should be able to move the ball against them. And then, Commanders offense, that's the problem, right? The running game. Got to talk about Bill, right? Got to talk about Bill.
Yeah.
Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, a.k.a. Bill. He looked really good last week, and the Bears can't stop the run, so I'm a little nervous about him.
Yeah, it's the very movable object. Bears defense meets a average running back, and that's going to do it. That's all you need to do. Yeah. I'll call it out. The Commanders have a NFL leading rushing attack so far this year.
Yeah.
Paired up against our Bears defense that can't stop a nosebleed. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. So there's fear. We can talk chess and strategy, and at the end of the day, it's like we just don't have the talent to stop a decent running attack, let alone the best rushing attack in the NFL. So that's a scary thing. I don't know how you do that. Any thoughts? No. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of this. This is starting to become the bend but don't break defense. But on top of that, like, you are just going to have to go out there like the Detroit Lions did last year and outscore people. That's where we're getting to. There are assets of our defense that shine, but they're going to be few and far between where it's actually mattering and standing out in games. So, like, as long as you are not a Sports Center highlight of highlighted in a section of like career highs or historical highs in like the rush game or the pass game or anything as a defense, great. Just stay and contain, please. That's all we're asking for.
Yep.
I agree. All right, cool. Anything else you guys want to talk about Bears related?
One thing, I don't know who this man is, but I wrote him down on our sheet because I've never heard of his name, but he has 5 sacks so far for Washington. Dorrance Armstrong. That is a new name to me. And, 5 sacks says something, and it's not bad. 5 games, 5 sacks. That's pretty
good,
pretty palatable. So hopefully, our left tackles can figure this guy out and not have him add to his trophy room of NFL sacks and getting Caleb on the ground. But, it's just keep Caleb, standing up and not freaking out and doing his scramble, freak out, run, throw perpendicular to the ground, throw an interception stuff. So, I think that's something to note, though, is can Theo and our kind of pieced together offensive line give Caleb a little bit of time so he doesn't have to try to be Superman.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never heard of this man before either. So we'll see. Hopefully we don't hear his name at all on Monday night. So.
Yeah.
One quick thing I wanted to throw out there because I mentioned it right before we started the show. There are some trade speculation. I don't think anything would happen this week at this point, just because it would be wild if make a trade on a Thursday night, Friday morning. But there is some speculation. There's a Titans defensive tackle, Jeffrey Simmons, as a player who a lot of teams are apparently he's on the trading block, and the Bears are one of the teams mentioned. I don't know much about it. I haven't seen anything confirmed. I haven't even seen any like reputable reports on it. I've just seen a lot of smoke on this player. So he is a defensive tackle for the Titans, and he has actually been very good against the run and the pass this season. So it would be a very welcome addition. I think it's kind of exactly what we were expecting Grady Jarrett to be, but younger and hopefully not injured, because Grady Jarrett, I don't know if I mentioned his name, he won't be playing this week either with a knee injury. So anyway, just an interesting piece of news that I kind of caught wind of, like as I was prepping for the show before we started. I don't know. I don't really know what it would take to get a Jeffrey Simmons. I don't really know a lot about him other than it seems like he's doing very good this year. My take, honestly, if it takes more than like a 4th round pick, I'm not really interested, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say too, Nick. And 4th seems reasonable, right? I mean, sure, he's a good, talented player. And
you start talking about a day 1, day 2 pick, though.
Yeah.
It's all going to depend in trading right now. Also,
to me, seems very early to be talking about some of that stuff. 2-2, you're far from competing and for a playoff spot or competing right now. So, I think that it makes sense that you get into early talks of these things, but it also is like, that's a defensive tackle. I need somebody who can rush the passer. If Jeffrey Simmons is that guy that is rushing from the inside, that's going to help. I need an end that can get there, that can speed rush or push, but we'll see.
Jeffrey Simmons so far this season, or Jeffrey, has 3.5 sacks on the year, which I mean, for a defensive tackle, pretty good through 5 games.
Yeah.
I mean, he is 28 years old, so it's not like he's a super young player. Don't know what his salary, his contract status is, but I don't know. The thing about this is I think you do have to start looking into trades because Ryan Poles has shown that he is not afraid. In fact, he's a big trader during season. We all know the Claypool trade didn't really work out great. Montez Sweat trade, which looked really great, but hasn't really returned on investment the past couple, past year and a half almost. That first 9 games was great, but Ryan Poles isn't afraid to make a trade in the middle of the season. So I think that's something you got to keep your eye out now for.
Yeah. I'd welcome that. Again, if it's for a 4th or lower, I mean, why not? You know what your defensive line is, and it's nothing great. So if you can add a body that can improve that for a 4th, 5th round pick, I don't see a downside to that. And I get
Yeah.
Drew, you're spot on. I mean, the counterpoint is, are we really competing for this year? Do we want to give up draft capital if we're a fringe to non-fringe playoff team? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? That does make sense.
Draft capital could also mean poo to polls at this point. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna use our 4th round picks to draft punters, then you make the trade.
Teed him up for that one. Teed him up.
Yeah. So I don't know. Interesting thing I saw, and I honestly thought he was younger than he is. So I don't. I'm actually. If he was like 24, 25, I would be all for it. But he's 28 years old, which makes me even less interested because that's not a trade you make for a future playoff Super Bowl window that's in a year or two. It's a trade you make for now, and the Bears are not in a win now mode, so that doesn't make a lot of sense. Other than just, it definitely would solve some problems on the Bears today, but it wouldn't solve them enough to make them a contender by any means. There's way more holes. So anyway, just an interesting piece of news, probably a nothing. Again, I follow a lot of like Chicago Bears fans that like are verified on Twitter and just throw random things out there sometimes. So probably nothing, but I saw a couple people tweeting about it, so I thought I'd throw it out there.
That's fun. Fun hypothetical. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, let's see. But that's going to do it for our Bears portion of the show. So Jay, I'm going to kick it back to you.
Yeah, right on. So we don't normally do this in the preview show, but we're going to go around the league in a little tiny around the league. The couple of bullets that I wanted to hit on, throw in there, I thought it was interesting to discuss. One of them is Joe Flacco, the ageless wonder, got traded this week from the Browns to the Cincinnati Bengals. I think that trade makes a whole bunch of a lot of sense for the Bengals. They ended up trading a 6th rounder and Joe Flacco for a 5th rounder, right? So it's like, whatever.
Right.
You're not giving up a lot to make that trade. You're not getting a lot. You're not giving up a lot. Seems like a win-win on both ends. But when I saw that trade go through, my initial thought was, God damn it, we have to play the Bengals, and I would much rather play the Bengals with Jake Browning as the quarterback than Joe Flacco. So I think it's interesting to see how that plays out. I don't know if we need to spend a ton of time, but Nick or Drew or both, do you have any thoughts on that? Was that interesting to see that kind of play out? I mean, now the Browns are in Gabriel land and maybe Shador land, and does it make any difference for the Bengals? Anything? Am I grasping at straws? Do we need to spend time on this?
No, I think it totally makes sense for the Bengals, of course, because you look at that division top to bottom right now. Yes, you've got the Pittsburgh Steelers up there. You've also got the Browns, and you've got the Ravens, who are 1-4. So like you have a division that can go out and you beat the Pittsburgh Steelers twice.
Yeah.
You've lost Joe Burrow for 3+ months of the season, but if you can scrap, claw, and get into get to 500, even that might be a winnable division to where you're talking about the playoffs, and then Joe Burrow's back, and that makes sense. So like it sucks as a Bears fan seeing them trade for it, and you have to play them yet this year. But as Bengals fans, like, you love to see that because you're still trying for this year. You haven't completely gave up. And on top of it, like, that division is attainable because Aaron Rodgers is helming the goddamn Steelers, and that's what's leading your division. You're technically second in your division right now, behind with the Browns and the Ravens at that record. So, like, go for it. By all means, good trade. And what'd you do? You gave away essentially.
You traded down 30 spots or less.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, that's what it is. It's nothing.
Exactly.
Right.
So, and he's already been announced that he's starting this week. My favorite thing, I think I sent it to you guys. Maybe I didn't send it. I sent it to a couple of chats. Is the old school meme that you've got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Chase Brown as the 3 old school guys: Will Ferrell, Vince Vaughn, and Luke Wilson picking up blue
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the guy that being
My
like,
boy Blue.
yeah, we gotta
Yeah.
have him. Yeah, come
Yeah.
on board. Yeah,
Put him in the van.
Yeah, exactly. I think at least it brings some fantasy relevance to that team, and that should be semi fun to watch at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my thoughts are it's fine for the Bengals. I do think that they're very much alive in the AFC North because the AFC North stinks. Like they're just like a bad division right now, which is crazy because you look at those teams and there's a lot of teams that were supposed to be Super Bowl contenders in that. Maybe not the Browns or even the Steelers, but you look at the Bengals and the Ravens, 2 wins combined with them. It's crazy. So good move for them. However, I don't know. Like I think you look at the NFL. Who's in backup right now? We talk about this guy a lot. There's a backup. There's a third string quarterback playing on TV right now.
Yeah.
That would have made so much sense for the Bengals. I'm talking, of course, about our guy. Oh my God, I can't think of his name right now. Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston would have been electric to watch on the Bengals.
Yeah.
And I saw a report that the Bengals never even called the Giants to inquire about him or Russ. It was Joe Flacco or nothing, I guess. But I mean, again, huge upgrade. Jake Browning is bad, and it sucks for him because he definitely. We talked about it. Like he could have sat on his backup quarterback role for 10 years if he really, if Joe Burrow stayed healthy and he had to come in for like a game or two. But playing this extended run is really kind of shown that he's not an NFL quarterback, and he will probably not be in the league very much longer. And Jay, to talk about what you said about how the Bears have to play the Bengals and you'd rather play against Jake Browning, we still might. Joe Flacco is 40 behind one of the worst offensive lines in the league, so he might. Joe Flacco might not be alive anymore. So
yeah,
we'll see. All in all, I think it'll be fine. I am a Jamar Chase owner in fantasy. I have some stake in I have a lot of T Higgins stock.
Yeah, same.
So hoping that brings some relevance to them fantasy wise. But yeah, interesting. And I think it'll be helpful. I don't know if it'll help the Bengals like win more games, but it'll definitely help those players be a little more relevant.
Yeah, Nick, I'm with you. I have a lot of Chase and Higgins this year in a variety of leagues, and so I think when I saw that trade, I was like, this can't be worse.
Yeah,
it can't be worse.
Yep.
So, yeah, right on. Okay, well, we'll put the Flacco news to bed. One last little snippet that I wanted to talk about. We talked about this during our show on Monday in the recap show, but the second week in a row, we had an NFL player, an unheralded NFL player, with a walk-in touchdown, fumble the ball at the goal line. But what I missed when that happened was the coach's reaction to, in this, I'm talking about Amari DeMarcado fumbling for the Cardinals, cost him the game. And the Cardinals coach, Jonathan Gannon, on the sideline just kind of really laid into him verbally, also physically, gave him a nice little, I don't know what you want to call it, a good man's, punch to the chest, if you will, a football move. He's a coach coaching a player. I'm going to keep my thoughts on this guarded until I hear from you, Drew and Nick. Did you guys happen to see that highlight? And then B, Jonathan Gannon, and I will say this first and foremost, I hate him as a coach. I think he's a weirdo. I do not like the guy. But he also got fined $100,000 for laying his hands on his player like he did. Fair foul. What are your thoughts, Drew? Is that the right play for the NFL to fine the coach for laying hands on a player like that? Walk me through your reaction, because I have mine. I'll get to that later, but I want to hear your reaction first.
Completely fair. And every part about this is fair. And
From the fine perspective?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
No. I think the fine perspective, the NFL is such a tight butthole league anyway. They're going to fine anything for anything. Like Cam Scatterboom might get fined for taunting after he got a big hit out of bounds, but had a good play and looked at a player.
Fun league.
That's going to happen. That's just to be expected. That's why I'm saying that's fair. But it's also fair for a coach to address a player more than just talking to them. Yeah. And I am totally you look at football from the lowest grain level of like high school football and like in Texas, like coaches probably grab their players' face masks, slap them around. Yeah. Like yell at them in their face. They're going to say,
right
like, I don't care if you're an adult male or you're, 17 years old and you don't know how to hold on to the football.
Yep.
You should be treated the same way if you act like a buffoon. If you act like an absolute, like you don't know how to play the game or you don't know like the basics of what you should do. So I can't excuse dropping the football. Like Jay, I know you've touched on this so much. I can't excuse dropping the football. I can excuse a man getting in another man's grill for not doing the basic part of his job, whether that be handling the football, whether that be like it from like our jobs perspectives. Like you can't operate a forklift. I'm going to get in your face. You can't do that. Yeah. You should be chastised.
Yes.
And whether it's physical or emotional or verbal, like you should be chastised. You can't do your job. I'm going to get on you. So fair, obviously, that the NFL fined him because the NFL will fine anybody for anything. And fair that Jonathan Gannon got in this dude's grill and bumped him, whether it was physical. Like, I wish he would be more of a man and like just keep berating him, because that's what needs to be done for these inexcusable plays.
Well, Drew, I think my analysis is shining through as I agree with your analysis there. Nick, what did you think about that? Did you have any thoughts that differ? Are you on the same page? I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I am on the same page as you guys, it sounds like, because I understand why the NFL did fine him, because the clip went viral, and the general public is not. The general public, I feel like, can't. If they saw what football coaches did to football players, they would not. They would really be vehemently. They'd be disgusted. Is really what it comes down to. And I'm not just talking about the NFL, folks. I'm talking about all levels of football.
Yep.
I have said many times, like, I didn't play college football or anything crazy, but I did play high school football all 4 years. It didn't matter if it was a game, at practice, or what. If you made the same mistake a few times, or a very stupid mistake, I remember I had a defensive coordinator specifically. He was like the hothead. Every coaching staff had like a hothead. And our defensive coordinator was like the hothead in our staff. And he would grab our face mask and put his face right ear in our face and scream at us with his hand like on our face mask and scream at us and stuff and all this stuff. Like, this is football coaches. This is
part
what
of the
they
sport.
do. It's an intense game. It's a physical game. These people, most of the coaches are former players at some point, maybe not necessarily NFL, but at some point they played the game. They're competitive. They're fiery. Coaches get fired all the time in this league. This guy Gannon, he's probably on his way out soon. He knows his job. He needs to win some games to keep his job. So that's in there too. And also, like, this was we talk about all the time, this is the stupidest thing you could possibly do in the, like,
completely inexcusable.
There's no reason for this. There's no reason whatsoever. So I have absolutely no problem with this. In fact, I think more coaches should do this when players do stupid things, because, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, I don't think Amari DiMercado is going to forget about it.
Yep.
If he ever gets a chance to run the ball again, which I doubt he will, but if he ever does, and he ever gets himself in this situation again, I bet you that he thinks twice about dropping that ball. I bet you he hands it to the referee or waits until he gets all the way through the end zone before he drops it. This is what football coaches do. I got no problem with it. NFL, it got caught on camera. The clip went viral, and all the non-football player, like,
pussies.
General consensus, pussies, pretty much. They see it and they're like, "Oh my God, he hit him! He hit another person! Like, that's crazy!" Like, first of all, he didn't punch him, right? He shoulder bumped him, right?
Yes.
It's whatever. Anyway, it's all in play.
Grab that dude by the fucking shoulder pads and shake it. Like, are you alive? Like,
when I was playing, our coaches would grab us by the face mask and get in our face, and we their spit would like hit us. It was disgusting. But
rabid
that's
dog.
what happens. Yeah, exactly. So I got zero problems with what happened. I do have a problem with, like, the NFL being like, well, this went viral and a bunch of fucking like pussies are like complaining about it on social media, so we got to find them now. I don't like that. But,
Yep. It's the reactionary, discipline that kind of pisses me off about it. I'm glad you guys. I'm glad we're all on the same page here, because that one started riling me up when I saw that. I got a couple of texts from some people like, "This guy's out of control." I was like, "What? This is it's football, dude. 100.
That running back is out of control. Fucking hold on to the ball, dude.
Thank you.
It's a physical game. Like I don't care. Yeah, let's turn it into NFL blitz, and the coaches can actually like take them on the sideline and side check them into the boards when they're being stupid. Do it.
And you know what, too? One of the things that pissed me off, I think, a lot about this is there's different ways that you can hit a man to man, especially when you're competing in a sport. From a coach to a player, that isn't a disciplinary action. It's more, to me, and again, I might be wrong on this, but the way I saw that was more of a, hey, get your head out of your ass.
100%.
And
100%.
Here's some encouragement, and I'm going to smack your ass, right? Like, let's get it next time. Don't ever let that fucking happen again. Boys being boys, let's fucking go. And you put that little exclamation point in a hit or a smack or a shoulder bump. And it's like, just that instills the message a little bit more. This is meaningful. Get your head out of your ass. What I was thinking as soon as I saw that is like, what would Coach Herman Boone say about this from Remember the Titans? What would Denzel, you missed your block in 7, you will run a mile. You fumble the football, and I will break my foot in your whatever goddamn face, and you will run a mile. It's like that's just football, guys. So I also thought it was an egregious amount. I mean, $100,000.
That's a lot of money.
Is a lot of fucking
no
money.
matter how much money you make.
No matter how much,
$100,000.
That
is
is
a fucking big check.
A lot of families bring in this country.
Correct.
And to find them over a coaching maneuver, especially when it's reactionary and you're trying to cover your ass and make yourself and your image look good as the NFL's like, get over yourself, Goodell. Fuck you. Back in the day, Goodell and the NFL used to fine players for wearing cleats that was like, I'm raising awareness for child's cancer. You're fined $75,000. Like, fuck you. Get over yourself, guys. So
also for anyone that was offended by what Coach Jonathan Gannon did, I implore you to Google Bobby Knight and see some of the things that man did to not even professional athletes, to 19-year-old kids.
Just the psychological warfare.
Just go take a gander down that rabbit hole and see what you think.
Yeah. No, good. I'm glad. I didn't know if we were going to have some. We're all on the same page there. We're men. Move on. Football. Football. That's the conclusion to that paragraph. But let's move on to some of our gambling, some of our fantasy stuff, the meat of the conversation, act 2, if you will, of the preview shows. Before we do that, though, guys, we'll do a little shout out in our gambling fantasy section. This week is brought to us by, who is it? It's Chuck's Southern Comforts Buffet. So, hey, BQ Army, are you looking for your next great place to enjoy a Bears game with great food, drinks, and people? Well, look no further than Chuck's Southern Comforts Buffet on Cass Avenue, just off of I-55 in Darien. Chuck's has great food and drink specials for every day of the week and for Bears games especially. You can find a link to those and their menu in our descriptions and bios in our socials. We're talking $3 PBRs, $5 Yingling pints, and many more specials for their Sunday dine-in specials. So with a wide open layout for bar patrons, including slots, seated dinner guests, and even private event spaces, Chuck's has everything you need for your next outing. So get on down there and tell them that the BQ boys sent you, and maybe we'll even see you for a Bears game or two this year at Chuck's. Okay, let's take a look in a wrap of the Guillotine League. We'll dive into some of our fantasy stuff, guys. This is getting out of control. I am actually paying more attention to the Guillotine League than my other leagues that I have money in and things of that nature. I was close to being on the block. I was kind of hovering through the noon and into the afternoon slates, and I was panicking. I was sweating. Luckily, I got bailed out. But we're 5 weeks in now, so 5 people have gotten beheaded. The French Revolution is attacking our squad. We're down to 13 people. Who got KO'd? Brendan got knocked out, unfortunately. So Brendan, thank you so much for playing. I'm sorry you had to go, but it's once a week. These are the rules that we have to abide by. Drew and Nick, you guys were kind of active on the free agent list. We had some big names going into the cauldron.
Brendan had a good team. He just had a bad week. He had a good team, though.
He had some
you'll see.
Elite stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Drew. I'll start with you because you have no more money, so you got your guy.
Yeah.
Walk me through that. Let the folks know who you got, and then we'll kind of go around the horn with some other folks as well.
Yeah, the money is being spent for sure, and I, like you did a couple of weeks ago, Jay. Like we're still feeling this out, and I think the number one thing for me is, in this league, I do not want to be chopped with money in my pocket.
Yep.
I want to spend it, and I want to make sure that I have players on my team that give me the ability to go out and win each week or get, above the last place. And I think I'm getting to that point. Still feel a little insecure about my wide receivers, but spent $500 on James Cook. Just for everyone's knowledge out there, Saquon went for 513, just above, and James Cook looks like the much better running back. So that's where I decided to drop my load on it. And
so you drop your load on James Cook. Is that what I'm hearing? Yep.
Yes, exactly.
James.
Sorry, James.
Give him a handshake afterwards or something.
Yeah, exactly. Handshake and butt pat. But I like the way that my team now sets up with Kenneth Walker, Bijan, James Cook. That is a three-headed monster that I feel very good in, with Jaden Daniels as a quarterback. And I feel like I've bought an extra couple of weeks to where right now we're going to see some money funnel out of here, meaning some teams with full pockets are probably going to lose at some point. And then you're going up against some teams that might have less money, and maybe you can pick up off of free agency. Although this league, more than any of my other leagues, seems to wake up earlier than any of the other ones on the waiver wire, and they are getting going. Eric in the chat right now bid 513 on Saquon. So
there you go.
Good luck with Saquon right now with the Eagles play calling, for sure.
Well, you got Saquon, James Cook, and Jordan Mason. I mean, those are star-studded. Those are big players. Drew, when I was looking through the free agent bids in the history, I noticed you didn't put any money at all on Saquon, but you were all in on James Cook. I'm surprised there wasn't some kind of a contingency bid on Saquon. I think he was kind of the prize possession. It's Saquon, right? Why didn't you put any money on him?
I'm just not in on Saquon right now with the play calling in Philadelphia. We saw it tonight, where you start hot with him and then you just roll off of his hand. I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia. So although he looked very, very great last year, Buffalo just looks like so much better of an option for scoring throughout the longevity of the season. So had to go with sticks. James Cook third there.
Fair enough. Pardon my hiccup directly into the microphone there, but yeah, Nick, I wanted to go to you next because you got Jordan Mason for $155. I thought that was by far the best value pickup of the week. What were your thoughts on that? And were you surprised to get him for that amount?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. The one thing I knew I had going for me was I knew Jordan Mason's on a bye week this week, right? So in this style of play, I had a feeling I'd get him for a lower price than the other. Like if he had a game this week, he would not have gone for that price. He would have gone for much higher. So I knew that I had a little bit of wiggle room there. And I also knew that I had a couple players on my bench that I was willing to part with that weren't really necessary for my team. So I had a spot for him on my team. I wasn't relying on him right off the bat. And Cam Scadaboo had himself a day just now. So it kind of helps me even more. I do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So, okay. So you're safe.
So I'm feeling pretty good right now. But yeah, I put my entire budget on both Saquon and James Cook, which is only $423. Came up a little short on both players, which honestly I might look back in a couple weeks and be like thankful, because as our boy Eric is aware, Saquon not really doing it for him this week, and Drew, you're out on Saquon, it sounds like. So I am glad, because Saquon would definitely have been in my lineup this week. Honestly, maybe over Cam Scadaboo, and I could be leaving 31 whatever points on the board, and I'd be devastated. So,
no, you wouldn't have started Travion. We all know that.
Yeah, it's probably true. I probably wouldn't have started Travion. But regardless, I really like Jordan Mason for $155. I think that he, even when Aaron Jones comes back, I think he'll be the solidified starter in Minnesota, and I think that he's a very, very good like running back 2 option in fantasy. So throwing him in there with Cam Scadaboo or anybody else in the future that I get, I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I would too if I was you. What I was surprised about was there was only one other bid on Jordan Mason in the league, and that was from Eric.
How much?
$37.
Oh, fuck.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, you don't know.
Guarantee that.
No, for sure. I wanted him. That's the whole beauty of the fab system.
Yeah.
But that sucks to hear, though. But yeah,
no,
that's fair.
But I mean, still, it's like I think that is shocking that no one else bid any more money, because that is a serviceable starting option in a guillotine league, you know? So yeah. So on the chopping block right now is Jen. She's projected for 93 points. Anything can happen, so don't get too nervous. I'm there again. I'm the third one to go for projected points. So we'll see how it goes. And obviously, Nick is about as safe as you can be after Cam's 3 touchdown performance tonight. I love this league. Any other points or items that you wanted to touch on the guillotine?
Just need to get Mark and Adam to spend some money. What are you guys waiting for? What's going on, guys?
Exactly.
What are we doing here, boys?
Yeah, you don't want to go to bed with a full wallet.
Yeah, you could even lump in like Sam into that category too. Come on, guys, spend some money. Can't take it with you.
Yeah,
Look at their average points per week. You've got 131 for Adam and then 115 for Mark. So feeling pretty secure in some of their. I think this is just going to get more interesting the more teams that get knocked off, and then the limited depth in which you have a bench. To where do you go? Like, how am I going to decide between 5 different players to start in one position? So we'll see.
We will see. Well, let's transition to our fantasy pick'em. Week 5's in the books. We put up some more points. We're starting to kind of snowball into showing some signs of life, which is good. I desperately needed a big week, and I got a decently good week with 86 points. I'm still very far behind. Our season totals got closer though. Drew's leading us 281, Nick 280, myself with 257. I had Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor did it for me, so that was a miracle. So thank God.
That one did it.
That one did it, boys. Yep. Throwback to the lounge.
Shout out the lounge
At Marquette. So let's talk about our picks for week 6. Okay. I don't know which one of you updated the scoring sheet and the spreadsheet, but that was hats off to whoever did that. Drew, was that you? No, Nick. Okay, great. That was really nice.
Yeah,
so
I thought it's just the manual calculating. It's like mistakes are going to happen, and just I like the way it is. So
spreadsheets, automation, et cetera. So let's go. Let's go to week 6. I don't even know who to start with. So Nick, you're going to start us off. I'll go second, and Drew, you'll take the wraparound, the first wraparound. But let's get into it. Let's pick our quarterback, running back, wide receiver, flex like we do every week. Nick, start the bidding.
All right. So I'm going to take running back to start. I like, hold on. I think, they play who do they play this week? They play the Bengals, I think. Yeah. So I'm taking Josh Jacobs. I like the matchup. I think the Bengals defense is absolute garbage. So I'm a big fan of Josh Jacobs against the Bengals this week.
Yeah, that was my 1 of 1 as well. So good pick there. Hopefully that works out for you. I will get that documented. And I'll go to my first pick as well. I am going to take a running back as well. And we talked about him during our pregame show. I'm going to take Bill. I'm going to take JCM from the Commanders. I can't imagine, the Commanders are going to put up yards. Drew, like you said pre-show, it's just a matter of who's going to get the touches. They might, cycle people in. He had a great showing last week against the Chargers. I'm going to ride the hot hand. Take Bill, running back as my 1 of 1.
Like it.
Yeah.
I do like that too. I just making sure. I'm trying to look at all of our.
Here you go. I had it on a filter.
Oh, you had it on a filter. You were making sure you had not picked him before.
Yeah, he was.
Okay,
yep.
Thank God. Well, I was looking for this so that I make sure I don't go over. I am going to take someone who is actually 0-2 in their. I'm sorry. He might be 2-0 in their meeting. Yes, he is 2-0 in their meeting, but he is taking a Sunday night slate. They're hot. They're going to KC. I'm going to take Jared Goff as my quarterback.
Ooh.
I like
MVP candidate.
Yeah. I mean, hot. He also is, I don't know, like that run game has been so stout over the last 2 games that I feel like we're just going to flip it because Casey's going to prepare for that. We're going to flip it, and Jared Goff is going to complete 30 of 34 passes and throw for 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I'm also taking in my flex, I'm taking Sam Laporta.
Whoa.
Probably not on any of your boards, really, but I'm pairing that up because Sam Laporta has been a little hot over the last 2 weeks. So I'm going with that fantasy pairing right now.
Very nice. From one. No, go for it.
Say Drew loves a stack, so I love that. That's
No
a good
doubt.
play, though.
And he loves a good mustache, too. One mustache connoisseur to another. I like it. I like we're throwing out some tight ends in here, too, to fill out the flexes. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Kyle Tucker just went yard. Just want to throw that out there.
Hey,
Shout out
nice.
Kyle Tucker.
Good deal. All my bets are failing miserably. That's what happens sometimes.
Everyone I know here is dead.
Everyone I know here is dead. All right, back to me. I am going to take in a what I think could be a fun matchup for some fantasy points. Dallas Cowboys, Carolina Panthers. Give me George Pickens as my wide receiver for this week. They're going up against like I said, the Panthers. I have no faith in the Panthers being able to stop anything, and Dak's been flinging it everywhere. So I think George is going to have a big game.
Can't stop a nosebleed.
Couldn't stop a nosebleed. Nick, do you want to wrap us around with 2?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Sorry, so I also want to make sure I've taken somebody. It doesn't matter. All right, so I'll take my quarterback first. This is a game also that I think is going to have a lot of points in it. I'm going to take Matt Stafford against the Ravens defense, who is one of the worst defenses statistically in the NFL right now. So I'm taking Matt Stafford there, and I don't think I've taken Puka Nacua yet.
Ooh.
Because I'm going to stack them together.
It's a stack week. That's a great stack to pick, too.
Yeah, I think Puka's going to have like 13 catches, maybe a touchdown or 2. The Ravens defense is atrociously bad, and it sounds like Lamar's not playing. I think there's a pretty good chance that team quits. So, so yeah, I'll take the Rams.
Yeah, I think you're going to be set up for a massive amount of points. The Puka card is a strong card to play.
It really is.
Yeah. Well, in the honor of us all stacking, I am going to stack as well, and I'm going to stack George Pickens with Dak Prescott. Again, Panthers, let's rock and roll. No further explanation needed.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I'm taking your reverse of that with somebody that ridiculously had one of the best fantasy games of the year last week, and he's going against your 2 Cowboys. I'm taking Rico Dowdle as my running back. That man had 204 rushing yards. If you guys didn't see that.
Payton. No, I did. Yeah, absolutely
last week, just absolutely shelled that. I don't know if Chuba Hubbard is going to be 100% healthy, but I don't care. Even so, against that Dallas defense, they are not good. And then not really a surprising pick, but more of a just kind of protect against what I know what could happen and what I think could happen on the ground too. This is another guy that we really haven't mentioned much in the Bears game. I'm going to take Deebo Samuel. I do think last week they got him very much involved in the pass game. I don't know if Terry is fully healthy. So I think they're going to lean on Deebo a lot, and that's just going to be successful against our secondary and our run game. So I'm taking Deebo.
Excellent. Rico Dowdle, quick, just sneak this in here. It's a show's tradition to let Paul know to go fuck himself. But he picked up in our league, Rico Dowdle last week, ended up still losing. He had the second most points scored, and he obviously let us know that he had the second most points scored and still lost, even with picking up the miracle flyer on Rico Dowdle, putting up 31 points. Also had Javonte Williams put up 26.4, still got the L. So, fuck you, Paul.
Stick it, A-Rod.
Yes, indeed. All right. So for me to fill out my flex position, I'm going to take Trey Tucker, wide receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders. And I'm only doing that because they're playing the Tennessee Titans. I think the Titans suck. Trey put up a monster week a couple of weeks ago. I think he can get in the end zone and be serviceable, and I can kind of burn through a Trey Tucker usage against a really bad team.
Where's that? There we go. Like the pick. Carson Kelly also just hit a home run. Cubs are up 7-0. So
hell yeah.
Breathing a little easy here in the bottom of the seventh. So anyway, good pick. I think Trey Tucker, a couple weeks ago, the week before the Bears game, he had a monster game out of nowhere. And I think that is a player they want to get involved. So I like that pick a lot.
The only thing holding him back, Geno Smith.
Yes, correct. Geno Smith, very, very bad player. But
where's Aiden O'Connell? Bring him back.
Oh God.
Okay. So, man. All right. So it's on me for my last pick. I need a flex, I think. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So speaking of the Raiders, I'm picking against the Raiders here. I think the Raiders are really, really bad. I'm going to take a guy who I think this is going to be a all or nothing pick, and I'm going to take Calvin Ridley as my wide receiver, my flex here, because I think that he could have a really good game. He also could put up 0 points. I don't know, but we'll see.
Risk reward, baby.
I like the matchup, but Calvin Ridley is like that guy. It just seems like he doesn't care sometimes, and he just doesn't show up. Yeah. So if I get Calvin Ridley motivated and maybe he's got a parlay on his game or something like that, he'll show up in the game. Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. He's a good player. I like the matchup, so that's why I'm taking it. We'll see.
We will. Well, good. We have our lineups locked. We'll hope to build on our success. We're starting to, like I said, snowball. Hopefully we see some more points going up on the board, make ourselves feel a little bit more competent, like we know what we're doing. I think that'll happen. So our teams and rosters are locked. We'll move into the dogs are hungry. We'll get into our gambling sections here. My dogs are hungry. You know the drill. We're going to pick some dogs, getting points. Are they covering the spread? Last week, we almost got our first parlay win, and it wasn't meant to be. Nick, you took the Giants plus 1.5.
Yeah, I did.
That's all right. You're still 3-2 on the year. Very, very reasonable. Drew, you took the Panthers plus 1.5. That was a fun game to watch. They covered. And I took the Titans plus 7.5 in probably the all-time miracle cover you'll ever see. They ended up winning the game too, but that was just a clown show of a game. So let's try to build on that success. We'll see if we can get a parlay to hit this time. So Drew, we'll start with you. Pick your dog of the week for week 6, and let's start with you.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit harder in these middle weeks of you've got limited games to pick from because there's teams on buys, and then you're trying to have to kind of filter through who gets to pick first for these, and we might all be picking each other's favorites. So listeners, take that as kind of a beware if we're all picking each other's third picks. Like, we're gonna hit it. These are the games that we like, but at the same time, like, these are a little bit tougher. We're kind of forced, have a forced hand in things. But that being said, my number one of one this week is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, you guys all know what I really, really like is, or dislike, is a West Coast team traveling to an East Coast team on a 12 a.m. slate. And on top of that, we're getting 1.5 points after, yes, I know it was an emotional win on Monday night against the Kansas City Chiefs, but this team in Jacksonville seems a little bit more established, that they're not going to kind of overlook a team in Seattle. And you saw how good Seattle was. So you should know that this is not just a walkover team. You're getting 1.5 at home, yet you are the favorite on the money line. So yeah, give me the 1.5 for the Jags.
Yep. That is definitely one that I had in my top 2, Drew. So I like that pick.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot too. But honestly, the money line versus the spread has me thinking a little something stinky,
weird.
Something
that is weird.
there. But I do. That was my number one pick too, because I think the Jaguars are better than the Seahawks. Period. But we'll see.
With home field advantage too.
Exactly.
That's a weird line.
Yeah. All right. So that's off the board. So honestly, okay. Honestly, I feel like this is a game. I think we pick this team to be the underdog every week, and I'm going to roll with it again. I'm taking the Titans plus 4.5 at the Raiders. I think the Raiders stink.
Yeah.
I think the Raiders are so bad, and I think the Titans really, they had no business like even covering that game, let alone winning that game last week, but they did somehow. And I think the Raiders are just one of the worst teams. I think they're so bad. Geno Smith is terrible. Taking the Titans plus 4.5.
4.5's a pretty number in the spread game,
really
right?
It really is. Yep.
So I can't blame you there. I didn't have that one on my radar, Nick, but I do like that pick. I think 4.5 is juicy enough. And again, it's, the Raiders are bad. And the Titans, no one's going to defend the Titans being good, but 4.5 is what the play is there, right? Can they keep it close? 100%. Can they lose by a field goal? 100%. 100% again. So we'll ride with that one. I'm going to go you know what I had circled down is Bengals plus 14, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I think that would be a fun one.
It's a big number.
It's a big number. You got Flacco being wacko. It's in Lambeau. I'm going to avoid that one, although I think that would be a fun one to just have,
Flacco's
no money
Flacco
on
in Lambeau.
Yeah. So
can he beat the same team twice in 1 year?
Yep. All that good stuff. But I'm going to go with my heart here. I'm going to save it for Sunday Night Football. In my opinion, game of the week. I love the Lions plus points. If I'm seeing it, I don't care who they're playing. I'm going to take it. They're alive in that game no matter what. 2.5 doesn't really do, whatever. It's 2.5. Right. It's not the end of the world. I think they can and will win that game straight out. I'm not the biggest believer in the Chiefs this year. I am a huge believer in the Lions. So Lions at Arrowhead, under the lights, give me the 2.5 points. We'll see what happens.
And that parlay is clocking in at plus 556.
Okay.
So put out the graphic on Sunday morning, Saturday night, something like that.
All right. Well, maybe this is we're due, damn it. Let's get one. Right? Exactly. Tighter odds. Let's go. Drew, do you want to take us away to the overs?
Take me away. Yes, I will. We'll get into the overs of the week and let you guys all know that we're on the cusp. Again, just like Dogs of the Week, we're 2 out of 3. Just join us, because when we hit these 6 of 6, if you even parlay that to go 6-0, you're profitable for the next couple of weeks.
All you need is one, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Put the mortgage on it. We'll get it.
Don't do that.
Can't advise, but yeah, at the same time, do it.
Do it.
So last week, Jay had the Miami Carolina over, which hit. Nick had the New England Buffalo over, which didn't. It looked like it was going to hit, even though that first half,
just a sloppy, bad first half.
Yeah,
and Josh Allen throws a pick in the red zone. It was just perfect storm of not hitting the over.
Yeah,
ununderstandable football for that first half, and then the second half is what you thought would happen the entire time.
Correct.
And then I had the KC Jacksonville Monday night game, which did hit. All things spoken, guys, follow this because we are close. We hit it last year plenty of times, so we're right on the cusp of what we're figuring out is going to be our perfect concoction of the overs of the week. So as you guys know, we're taking a game, we're taking a prop, we're taking something for the over of the week. I'm kicking it to Nick first. What do you got for your over of the week?
Yeah, I'm going to take a fun over. I'm going to kind of piggyback off of Jay's dog. I'm going to take the Kansas City Detroit over 52.5. I agree with Jay. I think it's the game of the week, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of points scored in that game. So, yeah, that's what I'm taking that.
Love it. I love having double action on a game of the week type of thing too, right? You got a horse in the race. You got the over going. There's a lot to get excited about. That should be fun.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, Jay, then take me through what you got going.
Okay, the one I like the best, so I'm going to go with it, is interesting because I was kind of going back and forth. I was like, the number's a little higher than I would have liked, but here's my justification for it. Here's my pick. I'm taking Chargers Dolphins over 44.5. It's in Miami. I think that the risk here is the Dolphins just poo the bed just quit. So there is this, nothing's ever going to be a lock, but I think the Chargers are going to show up offensively. I think they're going to put up low 30s in points, possibly high 20s. And I think the Dolphins, I just don't think that the Chargers defense is as elite as we've come accustomed to think that they are. And I think that there's a path for the Dolphins themselves to put up, 20-ish points in this game. And I think if they can put up that 20, the Chargers will be able to put up the rest in 27 plus. So I like that over a lot. If it was in LA, I probably wouldn't be playing that game, but I like the matchup in Miami. So that's my kind of gold pick for the week is 44.5 Chargers Dolphins.
Yeah.
Like it.
I like both of those. Mine is going to be pretty simple. I'm taking one of the best teams, although they lost last week. I'm taking them to score over 4 touchdowns, which is the Bills. Their team total over is 27.5 right now. So give me the get over 28. They are on a back-to-back slate of highlight games. They've got the second Monday night game. I'm calling the Bears, obviously, the premier spot there, but I think this is a Bills game where they said, you know what, we fucked around last week and we're just going to mush the Atlanta Falcons. They suck. They're terrible. So put it on them early. And that's why I like the Bills to score over 27.5.
Very reasonable. Very reasonable. I like that. I'm actually going to lock in that bet as a solo bet as well. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yep. And then, this parlay also over 6-1. We're at plus 606. So just over 6-1.
606. Yep. All right. Last section of betting we're going to get into is 3-man weave. As you guys all know it, we're picking 7 games on the money line this week. Jay, you've had a huge resurgence in this after the first couple of weeks that you are now in the lead at 19-15-1. Nick taking a little downturn like me, 15-19-1, and I am at 17-17-1. Am I wrong on that calculation?
No, I'm saying oof. I've been having a bad couple weeks. That's all.
It's okay. Nothing.
NFL's weird, right. Man.
NFL's weird.
We just have to point out the last 2 weeks of Jay's. If you guys are listening out there, this man is 11-2-1 So if you're hearing him speak, it is essentially gospel on the money line right now. Not jinxing you. I'm not trying to put that out there, Jay, but I'm just saying, like,
I also want to. Yeah, he also went 2-0 on the dogs and overs last week.
It was a good week. Last week was a good week. I'm not gonna lie. Last week was a good week. Last 2 weeks have been good weeks. So
open your ears. Open your ears. Have your eyes open too when we put out what is out there on the betting lines. But let's talk a little bit on the money line. First game we got going on, Jay, is your over the week. So I'm going to kick to you first. It is the Chargers at Miami. Chargers -3.5. But who do you got on the money line?
I mean, I like the Chargers a lot. I think, and what I tried to do when I was putting these, like we always try to do, is kind of find the tightest spreads. And so it's a little bit fair on the money line. I think that this could easily be Chargers -6.5, to be honest with you. And I might still dabble on that line. So if we're talking money line specifically, I mean, give me a lock with the Chargers. I know here's the deal. West Coast travels to the East Coast, noon slate, blah, blah, blah. I get that. I just can't imagine the Chargers losing that game, although anything is possible in this season of the NFL. I'm very confidently putting my hat on the Chargers for this one.
Feeling the same, Nick?
So the Chargers are very, very injured up front. No offensive line. Omarion Hampton, my guy, he's injured. He's on IR. I'm still taking the Chargers. If it was anybody but the Dolphins or maybe like the Jets or the Raiders, I would be taking the other team. But I do think the Chargers can squeak by the Dolphins because I think the Dolphins are not very good. So
yeah, I think that's really what it boils down to too, Nick. I mean, analysis was spot on. The Dolphins kind of stink.
They do. But I'm all about NFL parity this year, and I am taking the Dolphins for no other reason than right now. I think they're 1-1 at home. The Chargers are 1-1 away. 3.5 points. Yeah, sure, that's a line. I feel like this is just kind of a dogfight, and Miami for some reason shows up during those 12 a.m. games when they've got a visitor. So I'm taking the Dolphins. Feel like that's a particular spot in my head that it's like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I got to pick the other side.
I mean, this year any team can win any game. That's just unless you're the Jets, then you can't. But any other team can win any game.
You're struggling. Get into two other teams. Although one team won last week, it just feels like they're struggling to win. We've got New England and New Orleans. New England visiting New Orleans. New England's a 3.5 favorite, but Nick, do you have which side do you got in the money line?
I mean, the Saints won last week, but I still think they're just poo, and I think the Patriots are building something pretty good. I think the Patriots win this game. I might put an alternate line in this game. I really don't think the Saints are any good. So
I don't, but I'm concerned now seeing that parity of things that, like, how do you translate this NFL? Because the Saints beat the Giants. The Giants go out and crush the Eagles. Like, where is the understanding correlation of like how that should supplant ourselves in betting? I actually have the Saints in this game. I don't think New England played a stellar game last week against the Bills, and I think the Bills just fell asleep. It's one of those, like you said it, Nick, like the playing with your food problem. I think you said that last week. Playing with your food, like they should have destroyed that team. And I just don't think that New England is amazing right now. I think they have the pieces to get there. There were a lot of things going for them on that Monday night slate being there in the bright lights. But Jay, you agree with me or Nick on this?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I think this is going to be kind of I do think this is going to be a very close game. So if I'm betting the spread, I'm not playing this game with a 3.5. I will take New England on the money line. What scares me is it's in New Orleans. It's in the Bayou. But the decision point for me is I am a firm believer in Drake May, and I'm not in Spencer Rattler. And so I'm just gonna kind of keep it simple and go New England because they're not starting Spencer Rattler, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay. And another game that we've kind of highlighted maybe in our fantasy and other places. We're talking Dallas. We're talking Carolina. A line I was confused about and was thinking about with dogs. Right now, Dallas 3.5 favorite in Carolina. Nick, what are you thinking?
So I got a stat here for this specific game I want to talk through. Small sample size. There's been 5 games total. But so far in 3 games on the road for the Panthers, they average 15 points a game versus almost 29 points a game at home in 2 games. But still, they seem statistically to be they seem to be significantly better at home than they are on the road. And they're not just playing slouches at home either. They've played the Panthers, who are a pretty solid team. They blew them out 30-0. They did put up 27 against the Dolphins, who I think are pretty bad. But I think the Panthers are a decent team at home, and I also don't think the Cowboys, and I don't have any stats to back this one up, I don't think the Cowboys travel great. So I'm actually taking the Panthers on the money line here.
I don't think it's an actual like surprising. Dallas is not good by any means in a full football team aspect, and that's why I'm joining you, Nick. I think Carolina at home doesn't look scary by any means, the greater majority of the NFL, but they can put on and score points and keep up with a lesser team like Dallas looks to be. So I'm going to trust in them. I think they can stay inside definitely the 3.5. That's why I thought of them as dogs, but I definitely think they can win this one at home. So
yeah, Jay? And I guess my defending of it wasn't necessarily based on anything going on this year. It's just, I don't know, picking the Panthers to win a game ever on this has usually been a pretty dicey move. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But I do think they're going to win this game.
Dogs when it's like a massive point spread to cover.
13.5.
Never times it's been like, well, the Panthers, just because that's a big number, and I don't think they can cover 13.5 points or whatever. Anyway,
sorry. Are you on your you're on your
kind of lame, and I'm going to stick with the Cowboys. I do think Dax. I think they're going to put up a good amount of points. Although that was a very interesting stat that you laid out, Nick. I was not aware of that, but I'm just going to kind of keep it lame, and I think that the Cowboys are just a better team, certainly a better offensive team. But you never know. I mean, that Dak 4 interception game could be looming, and who knows? But I'll roll the dice with the Cowboys.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm gonna skip. I'm not gonna skip over this one pretty quickly, but I'm gonna skip my pick pretty quickly in this next one in Seattle at Jacksonville, because I think we all know where I've gotten to be there with my dogs of the week. But I'm taking Jacksonville, and I'm gonna kick it right back to you, quick, Jay, of who you're picking and maybe a deeper analysis.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Seahawks. I know that they're traveling from the West to the East Coast. I know that the Jags have looked good. I'm just not sold on that Jags team. I think the line's a little bit weird. Like you were kind of calling out Nick, Andrew, both of you, with the money line and the point spread. Mm-hmm. I do think that the Seahawks are just a better team. So my analysis is going to be simple. I'm going to bet with the team that I think is better and that they can overcome traveling a long distance and playing away. I still think that, I mean, I hate to say it, but Darnold looks good. That offense looks crisp. And I think they can run the ball. And I'm just not sold on the Jags. I'm really not sold on Trevor Lawrence either, to be completely honest. So give me the Seahawks.
Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, this is a weird one because I've been on the Jags all pretty much all year. I've been kind of all in on the Jags. My big thing about this is I look at 2 young stud receivers. You know, you got Brian Thomas Jr., you got JSN. Brian Thomas Jr. just looks lost out there sometimes this season, where JSN is an elite receiver in the NFL right now. I'm going to take the Seahawks. I actually, when we started talking about this, I was thinking Jags, but I'm going to take Seattle. I'm going to flip a little bit. So I think the Seahawks win this game, hopefully by 1 point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take that. I'd take that for sure.
Oh
3 more games. We know what the last one is. Let's talk a little bit of San Francisco at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is the favorite here at -2.5. San Francisco looks interesting, man. If they can get Purdy back and they can get a couple other pieces healthy, like it looks like a team that can definitely, obviously, compete in the West. But Jay, where are you going in this game?
So there was some news broke not too long ago that Purdy's most likely going to be out for this week and Mac Jones is back. I don't understand the line. I don't understand the line at only -2.5 in Tampa Bay. Again, West Coast team traveling to the East Coast. This one screams to me Tampa Bay, so I'm going to take Tampa Bay. But it also screams to me, like, why is it not 3.5? Why is it not 4? So that has me a little apprehensive, but I'm just going to stick with the gut and just not try to overthink it.
Yeah, I think one of the things that Tampa Bay has a problem with, just like the Bills had a problem with, is the playing with your food sort of situation of spreads. Like they won by 3 against the Seahawks. They lost by 7 against the Eagles. They won by 2 against the Jets. They won by 1 against the against the Texans. They won by 3 against the Falcons. So it's like one of the toss-up games. I think the Bucs are the better team. The spread might be like, let's keep it tight because they play all these tight games. But I'm with you, Jay. I'm taking the Bucs. It just screams like better team has to win here. That might be a reason why they're keeping the line close. But Nick, where do you feel?
I'm not going to overthink this one like Jay. I'm taking Tampa Bay. I think that they have, even with the amount of weapons they have out, they still have so many weapons. And as long as Baker's back there, I believe in them. So I'm taking the Bucs.
Okay. That's a 3-man consensus, right? For all of us.
There you go.
All got it. That only can mean one thing. Obviously, San Francisco's going to
yeah.
CMC is going to carve them up for 230 yards and 4 touchdowns, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
All right, Sunday night slate. Let's talk a little KC Detroit before we get to the Bears in Washington. I think we've talked a little bit about this from fantasy perspective, but let's talk a full game. Nick, I'm going to let you start. Who you got here?
I'm taking the Lions. I'm taking the Lions for a lot of the reasons Jay was talking about them during his was it Dogs Are Hungry section pick we made or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't believe in Kansas City this year. I just haven't seen anything that makes me think they're a good team in the NFL. The Lions, after a rough first game of the season, have looked like one of the best teams in the NFL. Like, they just do everything well, and they look like they're out for blood this season. So I'm picking the Lions until proven otherwise.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's easy enough to stay and say. I hate to say it. I know they're not a dog. I'm on KC. I think bright lights for KC always just means more. And this is a game where, yes, one of you has the over, one of you has the dogs. I think it could be an absolute shootout like we've seen before. Patrick Mahomes, one of the last feathers in his cap is he has not been able to beat Jared Goff. So,
so crazy.
He's 0-2 against him. So that might be something that holds a little bit more to him or the coaches or whatever. So that's the only reason why I'm taking KC. So Jay, where do you feel?
That's gonna be a massive game, and it's in Arrowhead. So if you're taking the Chiefs money line in Arrowhead, you got a fighter's chance at all times. I think I'm just gonna, I'm gonna side with Nick here. I think that I'm taking the Lions for all the reasons Nick said. So give me the Lions.
There you go.
Also, just every time I get a chance to shout this game out, I got to. The Rams Chiefs game when he was when Goff was on the Rams.
Yes.
54-51 was the final score of that game. Just points on points. It was incredible football. If we can get anything like that on Sunday night, it will be a good weekend, regardless of how else things go. So
You watch those replays of like just wide receivers streaking down the field, and it felt like nothing was going to be incomplete. Amazing.
Yep. And just a feather in the cap of that story, too. That was the Mexico City game, I believe. And that was when I bet the under of 63 points. And that was terminated in the first half.
That's okay. That was the same year that the Rams went to the Super Bowl against the Patriots, and I bet the over of that one. And I think the total score of that, I think it was like 17-6 or something like that was the final score. So it was just
13-9, I think.
Yeah, it was bad. It was
disgusting.
Not even barely hit 20.
Fun times.
Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes
Well, why we're all here, we can take a breather. Last game of the money line pick'em. We're picking the Bears. We're picking, we're not all picking the Bears. We're picking the Bears and Commanders game. Commanders are favored by 4.5. I know where I want to go. I'm going to start first. I think this is a winnable game. However, I think this is just not where we're at right now. Washington is what I think a more established team. I think they are a team that can control the game with their quarterback and the running game. Do I think it could be inside the spread? Yes, 100%. I think this could be not a devastating loss, but a loss that you're chipping away at and making you feel good as a Bears fan. And I hate to say losses feel good at any point of any season, but this could be a good feeling loss here. So I'm unfortunately picking the Commanders this week. I think this is just a better established team right now, and that doesn't mean we can't take away positives from it. So, Jay, I'm going to go to you next. Who you got here?
Yeah, unfortunately, Drew, I'm with you. I just don't see a path where the Bears can stop the run nor contain Jaden Daniels. Unless they can force 3 turnovers, then I don't see them winning this game. So I'm going to take the Commanders for those reasons. Hopefully I'm wrong. I'd love to be wrong.
Yeah. Nick, where are you going?
All right. So Commanders this season, they beat a very bad Giants team with Russell Wilson at quarterback in week 1. They beat the Raiders, who I think stink. And who else they beat? They beat the Chargers, who were completely beaten and battered, didn't have an offensive line, lost their running back in the middle of that game. I don't think the Commanders have done anything to prove that they're that good of a team this season. I don't know. Like, maybe it's just wishful thinking, but when I saw this line at Bears plus 4.5, I was like, it's like, yeah, done deal. I'm hitting that. I'm going to take the money line. Bears are going to win this game. I think Caleb Williams has something to prove in this game. We talked about it earlier. He's going to, the rivalry he has with Jaden Daniels, whether it's, said out loud or not, it's definitely there. It exists. I think Caleb is going to show out. Ben Johnson off a bye. We're going to see what he's got. Like I said, I think Ben Johnson is a very thoughtful, prepared dude. And I think that those things coming out of a bye, I think we might maybe start a thing about like Ben Johnson after a bye, like the other good coaches. So I do think the Bears will be prepared. They're getting a little bit healthier. And I don't know. I don't see a way where Washington can stop the Bears receivers. I really don't. Like, I don't see a way where I don't know who's they're gonna put on Rome. I don't know who they're gonna put on DJ. I don't know who they're gonna put on Zacchaeus. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen to the Bears passing game. So I like the Bears in this game. Also sneaky like the over in this game as well. So give me the Bears.
Yeah. Amen. I'm glad one of us picked the damn Bears. So thank you for doing that, Nick, on a Bears podcast. Thank God.
Yeah. Well, got to do it.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll get those scores and results all tabulated in our review show. That's we're going to record it on next Monday. We'll have it out on Tuesday morning. And we'll just kind of shimmy our way into the closing thoughts and wrap up this show for this week, guys. So, Drew, why don't you lead us off with the closing thoughts before we say goodnight?
Yeah, we're in October.
So spooky season is upon us. I know it's not felt necessarily like spooky season with all this heat that we have gotten in Illinois over the past couple of weeks, but starting to get the crispness in the air to where you get those spooky movies out. You start watching the Halloween towns. You start watching Hocus Pocus. Get everything around the Halloween atmosphere that you can. Decorate your house, get the spiders out. Right now, Jenny and I are in the process of moving, but we are going to decorate the heck out of the next house. All I'm trying to get at is we are in the house decoration years or the season right here of fall means decorate your house, exemplify it in the best way that you can for the kids around the neighborhood and just your community. So get into this season because it's not what we live for here in Illinois once the snow comes down and the temperatures get frigid. So get into your seasons, get decorated, and let's have some fun this year.
Let's have some fun. This beat is sick. That's perfect, Drew. Well said. Well said, sir. Nick, take us home.
Yeah, I mean, as I sit here right now, Cubs are 2 outs away from forcing a Game 5 against the Brewers. Top of the ninth right now. Cubs have a 6-0 lead. I mean, this is what you want, right? This is the beauty of playoff baseball. Looked absolutely lifeless in the first 2 games. Come back home, win an absolute nail biter yesterday. Looking good right now. Nothing's official, but looking good right now. If this game goes to a Game 5 on Saturday in Milwaukee, I am going to be thrilled, and I am looking forward to it. I mean, I know that Milwaukee fans are going to be shitting down their legs right now, like if Game 5 happens. Like, I know that that's going to happen. This is not a position they expected to be in when the Cubs and the Brewers left Milwaukee a couple days ago. I can't wait for Game 5, assuming the next 2 outs go smoothly, which probably shouldn't assume that, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Take it easy. Take it easy there, Jim.
I'm just saying.
Okay. All right.
This game ends the way it should. I love the Cubs in Game 5. Cubs in 5. It's always been Cubs in 5.
It must be nice to have a baseball team that you like playing in October.
Just say the last time the Cubs came back to win 3 games in a row, we all know what happened in the playoffs.
It was a good day.
It was a good day. No, well said, Nick. Love playoff baseball. I hope you guys have an absolute blast and the Cubs can keep it going. Get some energy in Chicago. Some sports energy would be great. So hopefully they can do clean up Game 4, finish it out strong, and then go on to the NLCS hopefully. And are you guys talking with Paul? Are you guys having any communication about that? Or no?
I think we have a very respectful ceasefire.
Yep.
Paul
Yep.
right now. And I think that's really the only way you can handle that. Yeah, it's like a peace treaty. I think that's the most mature way adults can handle these kind of rivalries and high pressure situations. At the end of the game, at the end of the series, regardless of it, there will be a firm, handshake with a hat off situation, like a golf situation. So regardless, there's respect here, but it's a war right now. It really is. So this might do it.
Game over.
Yep. Game 5. Game 5. Cubs in 5. Always been Cubs in 5. Let's go.
Always been. Yep. Sleep easy tonight, gentlemen. That'll be great. I'm going to take us out with just some very simple thoughts. Nothing pre-planned, but this is the last Bears Monday Night Football game of the season coming up, and thank God. There's nothing I hate more than watching the Bears play on Monday night. Luckily, with a little bit of stress relievers, there's another game going on beforehand. So hopefully that kind of takes, if the inevitable happens and the Bears aren't showing up, I shouldn't say the inevitable. If my worst fears are happening and the Bears aren't showing up, hopefully that can kind of, that Bills, who are the Bills-Falcons game can kind of distract me a little bit, but I hate Bears on Monday night, and I hate the fact that we have 2 of them straight away early in the season, but at least it's kind of clear and easy sledding downhill on some Sunday night games. So we have a Friday night game, we have a Saturday night game, but I just hate the Monday night lights. It's never been good for the Bears. So hopefully we can get through this one, come out of there with a win and then just be done with the Monday night for the rest of the year and have our Sundays back. So those are my closing thoughts. I think we'll wrap up the show, gentlemen. Another great show. Love hanging with you guys. Love doing these podcasts. That will do it for this episode of Barely Qualified. So on behalf of myself, Jason Maxwell, and with Nick Lavris and Drew Bailey, thanks for listening. And as always, we'll catch you on the flip side.
Thank you for listening to the Barely Qualified podcast. Like, comment, subscribe for more on a bi-weekly basis.